All right, everybody, it's segment number 3, and I think we saved, it could be the best for last, Mike. It could just be. So, Mike Zuber, one rental at a time. How is it going, my friend?
It's going well, man. The first 2 episodes were fire. So
Oh,
this one's going to be good too, though. We're going to hopefully save a lot of people in this one.
I certainly hope so. I mean, and this is something that we can actually help with because, again, it's not something that administration really covers or carries, the handout administration. So what I wanted to talk about today was refi. So a lot of people now, they've experienced more growth in the value of their home than they ever have. Even people that bought 2 years ago can be refining. I mean, this is how crazy it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you have PMI and your primary residence and you bought more than a year ago, you better be calling someone because that's wasted money at this point.
Yep. So we wanted to talk about refi, kind of the cautionary tale, talking people through kind of what that refi process is. Certainly everyone's familiar with the BRRRR concept. And for those of you who aren't, it's basically buy, repair, and then rent and then refi. Yeah, buy, repair, rent, refi. I mean, I don't know what it's really called because I was just doing it 20 years ago.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, it's so nice when they finally put a name to what I was doing, what you were doing. So it's fun. But let's talk a little bit about like the cautionary tale as far as refi goes. What are you seeing out there? What do you think the biggest risk is in this refi?
I think the biggest risk in refinancing of properties is people don't appreciate or understand that a refi appraisal is far, like capital letters, bold text, italics, far more conservative than a purchase money mortgage or purchase money appraisal. Why is that? Well, a couple of reasons. First off, a purchase actually has what's called a willing buyer and a willing seller.
That's right.
There's a contract. There are comps of other willing sellers and willing buyers. So a purchase money appraisal is frankly easier to get done because you actually have two independent parties and other independent parties coming together.
Right.
A refi appraisal does not have an agreed seller and an agreed buyer. It's an owner that has owned it for maybe 6 months in a BRRRR project or owned it 6 years and they're looking to extract equity. So unfortunately what happens is that appraiser who's doing a refi, again, is going to be a lot more conservative. They are instead of leaning forward because there is a contract, they are going to lean backwards, right? So they will likely still get comps, certainly if it's residential, but everything will be backwards instead of leaning forwards. And this makes a huge difference because a lot of people that I see trying to do BRRRR are using ARVs from purchases.
Right.
And that's not going to end well in most cases. Right. If your BRRRR project is relying on the tippity top, comp from the cleanest property on the best street and all of that, you're going to be greatly disappointed. Yeah. Because there is no contract, right? If, like, for example, if you come to a refi, right, 6 months in, so you have seasoning, all that stuff done, and you think the house is worth 200 because there's, two comps to support that. If you sold it, you might get 200. You might get 205.
Right.
But on an appraisal, I'm telling you right now, you should get ready for a 180, 185.
Yep.
And so many people are up in arms about the refi. And I'm telling you, these people that write books, they're out there to sell books and make it look easy on purpose.
Right.
There are risks, and it's usually the exit or the refi or the recycle or whatever you want to call it that bites people. And they're like, Michael, I can't get the last 10 grand out. How do I pay back my lender? I'm like, well, go find the money or sell the property. But I didn't want to sell it. I wanted to build my portfolio with zero down and buy better deals.
Yeah.
That deal
was too skinny on the front, number one. And number two is, to that end, there's a lot that goes into it. And I have done this in this market. I've done this in the last 90 days. And I just did a package of 7 properties where I estimated that they were going to come in for those 7 properties at $3.2 million was going to be what they were going to be valued at. Okay. And they came in at 3.3 million.
Okay.
So I was pretty dead on, only you should know your market that well.
Yeah, exactly.
No, really understanding. Now, here are 3 easy steps that I took to make sure that I got the best appraisal possible. One is I actually did all the comp work myself. And I provided the appraiser with the comps, said, here you go. And I showed them this property is, brand new and better quality, but they're getting 18% more. So that's why I believe this is worth this. So I did that comp work. Second thing is I also included the rent roll, showing them what the rents were, because that might not solely drive value, but it certainly has input on value. So one was making sure I gave them comps. Two was giving them a rent roll. And then three was, what were the improvements that I've done to the property since I purchased it?
Absolutely.
And it was just a line item. It was, since I bought this property 5 years ago, I spent $80,000 updating and upgrading everything. Because a lot of times they'll go back, they'll look at the deed and they'll see what you paid for it. And then they'll go, well, it's this number plus X%, which drives me nuts, because that's not how you appraise. That's not how anybody's buying.
No.
Are you basing what you're buying on what it was plus X%? No, you're basing on what current market value is for the other assets. So what Mike said is exactly true. In very many cases, that's exactly what they're doing. Now, I had one on the commercial side, which honestly, Mike, I thought was going to be the easiest one. I thought it was going to be the easiest one. On a monthly basis, this building grosses $8,200 a month. $8,200 a month. It's a 6-unit, off-street parking, well-appointed, nicely done. Some stuff is a little bit dated, but nice, clean siding, new roof. And I think the property's worth between 8 and 850. I got an appraisal back for $670K. And do you want to know how screwed everyone is? Mike, tell them how great an opportunity you have. Once you've gotten a bank to agree to the appraisal at 670, what is my recourse?
Dude, your recourse is to wait a year until that appraisal is deemed not valid.
Exactly. So, and the best part about a commercial appraisal is it cost me $4,000.
Yeah, that's not 400, it's $4,000.
Yay. So I just spent $4,000 for some jackwagon to say my property is worth $130,000 less than market value.
Yeah. The funny thing here is that jackwagon, if you were to sell it, it'd appraise at 830.
All day long, right?
Exactly.
All day long. So
purchase versus refi.
So to Mike's point, I actually called 3 brokers that know the market very well. In fact, I called the broker that sold me the property because she actually not only knows it so well, she actually managed it when the previous owner owned it. So I said, so you know the property inside and out, you saw the updates that I did, this, that, she's like, no, absolutely. I got 3 numbers, 775, 795, and 825. So on the best day the appraiser could have, he was $105,000 off. And even funnier is right across the street, not across the street, the backside, but literally looking out the front door across the street, they're putting up $450,000 two-bedroom condos. 425 across the street. Like, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, well, yeah, appraisals, again, appraisals can bite you. Refi appraisals especially.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mike, I know that you're going in and you're doing some of the refis. What are there any special steps that you're taking?
Yeah,
to get the best appraisal, because you know it's going to cost you money.
Absolutely.
And you know that you don't want to do it again.
Yeah. So really I'm doing a couple of things just like you. So if it's an active project where I'm BRRRRing it, I actually take the time to take before and after video.
Yes.
So it's something I do on my channel anyway, but what I do is not only do a package of comps, I send them full walkthrough videos of, okay, just so you know, this is what this piece of blank looked like day 1.
Sure.
And this is what it looks like day 90. Vastly different. Then I give them an inventory of everything we did line item. Yep. Just so they understand and they can visually see, right? Oh yeah, brand new kitchen. Oh, that sometimes I'll give them like 7 videos, day 1, day 10, day 20, day 30, right?
Sure.
All this stuff going on. So again, the more data, the more information you give somebody doing the refi, the better. It's not going to be perfect. I've still been disappointed.
Yes.
But you should treat getting the refi done as part of your job, because if you don't do it, you're at the beholden. I want to remove as much risk as possible.
Yeah. In this particular case, hope is not a strategy.
No.
Do not be like, well, but they're the professional. They're the appraiser. No, really. And it is just not the case. And I can give you a perfect example. I had a property that when I purchased it, I believe the property was worth 800. The appraisal came in at 675. I had to bring more money to the table. I still knew I wanted the deal because it was a 9 unit. I wanted the deal. I got the deal done. And I was like, I can't wait to get that stupid appraisal off record. Literally to the date, a year later, it was reappraised. 1 year, the property was worth $845,000. And that was after I subdivided a single family home off of the lot.
Oh, nice.
So now adding the single family with that appraised for to the 845, it actually appraised for 1.15 million. 675 to 1.15 in 1 year. This is what happens often. And it happens too often, more often than it should. You get an appraiser that is just out of their depth. They don't do the math right. They don't understand the market well enough. They find things that they're able to point it to, which aren't a best correlation. And so just be aware of that. The only way that you can avoid that is by doing like what Mike and I do, which is setting them up for success, giving them all the data possible. And then if they ignore that, okay, they ignore that, but then still take all that data and provide all that to the bank because they have to review it and accept it. And there are some times where banks say, you know what, we think your number's a little bit low. Now, on a purchase, that's a different story than it is on a refi, because on a refi, especially cash out, they're going to be on the hook for more money. So they're not going to fight with the appraiser. They are aligned with the appraiser on a low value. They do not want to align with not align with the appraiser. They want to say, hey, we align with the appraiser. Yes, the number's smaller, but we align with them. Why? Because then they still get to have the mortgage on the asset and they have to give you that much less on your cash out refi.
Exactly.
So just something to be aware of. So Mike, tell everybody where they can find you, my friend.
Go to your Google search bar and type in One Rental at a Time. You should see a book, YouTube channel, Instagram, website, all that stuff.
All of that good stuff and the amazing course and the free course.
I do have a free course.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. The free course, which is absolutely awesome. Getting your money right. Guys, well worth it. And even if you only take that and you don't turn into buying real estate, that will absolutely get you on a much stronger financial path. So as I always say, Mike and I spend a ton of time coming up with great ideas and then executing on those great ideas. So please make sure you subscribe. I'm on lumberjacklandlord.com and Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube. And Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, we are doing a live stream, which we're very excited to have as many people join as possible because we have in fact been verified by YouTube. So
good luck.
Yeah, thanks, Mike, very much. Have a great rest of your week and weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Bye.
Take care.